Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. So today we continue to discuss about the Eightfold Paths, the wise livelihood, and last time we talked about staying away from some occupation that may bring the harms to ourselves and others. So again, we need to live in this world. We need to work. Either we work for ourselves and work for others so that we can survive and raise our family, provide the support of our families. Because without work, we would not have any income to survive. And of course, we will fall into the poverty. With that type of poverty, this may raise all kinds of problems. If we don't have money or financial abilities to support ourselves. So that's why we need to either run the business or work for others, especially majorities of us work for others. That's why we need to select the occupation or profession that bring the benefit for ourselves and others. We accumulate the wealth, salary, income without hurting others, without stealing line and deception. So that's why the Buddha advised us that when we go out to seek for jobs, we need to keep in mind those jobs, occupation, or professions should bring the benefit for ourselves and others. We need to recognize again the three kinds of people that people have, and Buddha reminds us to recognize. The first one is the blind person, the one that does not know how to generate the wealth or income, and they may not know what's wrong, what's right, what's good, and what's bad. So that is considered as a blind person. The one-eyed person does mean the one who know how to generate the wealth, but they don't know what's wrong, what's right, what is good or evil. So that means they may obtain the wealth, they may work for others, they may earn income or do some kind of business that will benefit for themselves, but somehow it raise some problem with other people, like they gain income through violence, through deceiving, and so forth. So that's why the Buddha say that is a one-eyed person, and two-eyed person. This means someone know how to generate the wealth, to gain income, to get the salary, but they also know what's right, what's wrong, what is good and bad. So that means they recognize this type of teaching, right livelihood, that they recognize the job they're doing that bring benefit for themselves and others. They don't earn money to harm others. They don't get the salary benefit through deception, cheating. So That is what the Buddha called the two eyes poison. So last time we discussed that we need to avoid some business that deal with human trafficking, slavery, or weapons trafficking, or trading, meat industry, illegal drug trading, business, or involved in some kind of chemical or poisons that may create problems for ourselves and other people later on. So again, the Buddha is spelled out clearly that as the Buddhists, we need to recognize those harmful occupations so that we can stay away from them and find some right jobs, occupations, profession that bring the benefit for ourselves and others. And of course, there's some occupation. Let's be clear that may bring the negative effect to other people, like we just mentioned recently, trading human, trading arms, trading weapons, trading illegal drugs, slave, prostitution, and so forth. So it's be clear cut that we recognize there are the harmful business that we need to stay away from them. Of course, there's some kind of business or occupation that may not be clear cut between good and bad. For example, if someone working in some business as a salesman, definitely the companies, the business need the salesman to sell the products. But if because of high pressure, they advertise their products in the aggressive way, they may manipulate the price and products so that they could have that sale picked to the customer, or later on as been they sell the product as may not be the way that they advertise. So again, that type of business even still proper, but still because of how they advertise themselves in the way that they don't say the truth. They don't spell out all the hidden scripts below the contract. It may have the negative impact on the buyer later on. And of course, that type of business may not be trustworthy. So again, this in between black and white is in the gray area. And others business too that we need to recognize. For example, even in the business of teaching, for example, if somehow the teachers or professors don't have the clear cut of what's good and bad, they may create the problems later on. They may allow the student to cheat on the test. And of course, we heard some story about some wealthy people pay some SAT tester to get the questions or to change the score of the SAT score so that their children can get into the elite university. That's illegal too, but still we need to recognize again anything that's illegal, anything that is considered deception or cheating cannot be accepted. And even in the professional field, like in the medical field, there's some people, what you call the white collar crimes. They take advantage of their position to create a scam so that they could get more income benefit. So let me show you a short video clips about this kind of problems and that we need to be aware of.
The NYPD is one of nearly 36 people now charged in a massive healthcare fraud case. Prosecutors said the ring netted more than $146 million and used some of that cash to buy luxury items like multi-million-dollar homes. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Stacey Saker.
Every taxpayer who cares about publicly funded healthcare should be as angry as I am about what these defendants allegedly did.
As they held their heads down in court late today, prosecutors here in Brooklyn were busy showing off the luxury items that some of the defendants had allegedly bragged about. What's now amounted to the largest Medicaid fraud case here in Brooklyn ever. 20 people named so far, 4 of them doctors, including one who was a practicing surgeon for the NYPD. They're all accused in an organized scheme which built the systems designed to protect New York's most vulnerable people.
Predators subjected them to medically unnecessary tests and billed the government for tests that were never given to them.
They say it worked this way. Recruiters would even go to a soup kitchen or a job center here in Brooklyn to pull in patients who had Medicaid or Medicare cards. The so-called patients at 6 different clinics were then given small kickbacks for the unnecessary or even imaginary medical tests. The doctors allegedly signing off on thousands and thousands of them.
But it's about taking taxpayer dollars and saving taxpayer dollars for the very worthy objectives that they're supposed to be spent on.
The alleged ringleader, 35-year-old Christina Mirbabyeva, arrested today in her Brooklyn Heights penthouse.
I understand she was not happy.
Now, if convicted, she and the others could face up to 25 years behind bars.
Okay, so now again, these are the white crimes, so that again, even in the good occupation in the professional field, this all kind of people, they twist their mind and jump around to create this kind of fraud and scam to get the money from the public and other people. And recently, this is some more than $1,000 go for Giuliani strike force to be this bar for election fraud conspiracy. So again, the idea is that in any kind of profession, even this good for the benefit of the public, like education, like in healthcare, in criminal justice, and so forth. Those professions are supposed to bring benefit for the petitioners and the general public. But if someone try to twist around the system, try to cheat or have the deception, they would create the problems for themselves. So again, we need to be aware that if those people take advantage of the system, again, that is considered as the wrong livelihood too. Even they work in those fields, the healthcare field that's supposed to support and help the patient in the criminal justice. They're supposed to defend for the weaker, but if they defend for big companies, large corporations, by using some kind of scam or fraud or misinformation, again, that is improper way of run a business or working in that type of profession. So it's pretty clear. That's why we have white collar crimes. Even in the business of our income tax for the people or the one who have the CPA, if they have straightforward mind, that's pretty good for them to have other people to file income tax in the personal and business level. But if they take advantage of the system take advantage of other people that they may not know much about how the system works, and they misuse them, again, soon later they have to pay for the price. So again, this all kind of white collar crimes that we are aware of. So another thing I want to discuss is there's some occupations, profession that in the gray area, and that may not be clear cut to define. This is wrong occupation or right occupation, like in theaters, in making movie business, like Hollywood, the actors, actress, and so forth. So again, many of them would become celebrities and soon later, or even the famous celebrities. But if they involved in some kind of scenes or movies that may have the violence nature, any kind of encouragement nature of wrongdoing, like shooting, killing, sexual misconduct, and so forth. So those kind of movies may have great impact on the public, especially the youth. And on the top that nowadays, not only in this country but everywhere around the world, the problem with our youth now is the computer games, internet games, all kind of games that some youth, even children, they are addicted with. So if they play too much violent games, unhealthy games, illegal games, and so forth, has have the great impact on their mind and their life negatively. And so those develops or drive those games, the violence, the illegal one, and so forth, have the responsibility to those youth and children. And so again, Nowadays, since it's the complex situations in the modern age. So whenever we want to engage in any kind of occupation or profession, we need to recognize whether those occupation or profession could bring the benefit for ourselves and others or not. So especially in those type of high pay occupation or profession. So even if someone in the profession of developing the animation, a cartoon, movie, and so forth. So again, if they have conscience, and they would not involve in making those cartoon that may incite violence, illegal act, and so forth. So that's why if we recognize us, we would have the wisdom to set it out those kind of profession that would not bring the harm for ourselves and others. And even when we work in some big corporations or companies that may produce weapons, even this legally we can work there, but we need to have second thought when we work for a company that produce weapons, produce bomb, produce all kind of military services, especially the weapons. So of course we can say, oh, if I don't work for those company, other people would work. So of course that's their choice. But at least we know that if we involve in those type of profession or companies, we carry on those type of karma with them. So again, even in the stock market, if we buy the defense stock, we need to consider, because when there's some kind of finance, that kind of stock, a defense stock may raise up, and if there's no more fighting, it may go down. So if we involve in that, we part of that system, the system that the weapons, the conditions for people to kill each other. So with that type of understanding, we would need to recognize how we get involved, or how we find our own jobs for earning income and salary to survive. And meantime, we set it out at least some occupation that would not bring the harms ourselves and others. And on the top of that, it became clear that even when we work for some professions that seem to bring the benefit for others and ourselves, like in healthcare, in medical field, in education field, and so forth. But if we don't have the proper mind, we may create bad karma when we twist around, when we kiss the system, when we do things illegally in that type of good profession. And besides that, when we work for some companies, and if, let's say, they don't care much about the resource, they don't care much about the environments. They may not care much about the communities. For example, if we work for some petroleum companies, they may pollute the gas or whichever at that place. It may affect the whole communities and the health of the workers and so forth. That's we need to think about when we get involved in that type of company. Of course, in this country, we have all kinds of regulations that big, large corporations need to follow. So that's good stuff for us. But let's say if we get a job, I mean that overseas job, that may not care much about environment. They may not care much about the health of the local people. Again, we need to reconsider whether we want to accept that kind of work, that kind of job or not. As in some companies, they may not care about the water. They may not care about the environmental issues and so forth. It may affect you many people that work in that business or in that community or location. So again, with that kind of understanding, we have the guidelines from the Buddhist teaching that we would get involved or get a job that bring benefits for ourselves and others, not to harm ourselves and others in the direct or indirect way. So that when we take those jobs, we know for sure that we have the means to survive. And in the meantime, we would not harm any people surrounding us. So that is what we call in here right livelihood. And on the top of that, the Buddha advises that let's say if we work for others, or even when we have a chance, opportunities to run a business, we need to balance our income and expenses. So in the numerical discourses, the Buddha has advised us we need to balance our income and expenses so that we can have a balanced life. So Buddha said that the income will stand in its assist of his expense, not the expense assess the income. Which means when we work for others, or even when we run a business and we generate income, and those kind of income can support our expense, like paying the mortgage, utilities, and so forth. If we have large income, we can spend for those expenses, but not all around. That means if we earn less income, but we spend so much money for mortgage, utilities, or other expenses, that is not balanced life. And that's why the Buddha say that we need to have that kind of balance. At least in one particular sutra, the Buddha said that we need to divide our income into 3 portions. The first portions we use that to support our life, to pay for all mortgage, utilities, or expense that we have to pay in our daily life. That's the first portion. The second portion, the Buddha advises that we need to set in case that we need to use them, especially in emergency cases, in the natural disaster or any kind of accident, any kind of problems that affect our life and our family members. We can use a type of emergency room fund to pay for those expenses. And the last portion, the Buddha said that we need to give out to help other people, so that we can generate the merit for ourselves and helping others. So basically, by dividing our income, salary, benefits into 3 portions, they could help us to have a stable life and helping others in the way that we spend our income in the proper ways. We save our income for emergency usage situations, and we use our incomes, a portion of income, to help others, so that it shows our responsibilities, our sharing with other people, especially the needy one, the poor ones. So that's why the Buddha mentioned that we need to recognize how we use our wealth in the proper way. In one of the sutra, one particular sutra, the Buddha reminds us there are 4 steps that we can balance our financial situations, our wealth harmonies. So it's similar as the 3 portions that I can mention recently. So the Buddha say that we need to set aside a money of wealth for our needs and wants, and that's more important in our life. That's number 1. Number 2, we need to set aside the money that need to grow our business and skill. The number 3, would I say that we need to set aside money that we need to grow the business to enrich our career. And the last one, we set aside the money in times of needs. So basically, the first one, we need to set certain amount of money, income for our important uses, like paying the mortgage and utilities. And the second one is set aside the money so that we can grow our business, to start a business, to start our skill. We need to invest in that type of business skill. And the third is we need to put the money to grow business, to enrich our career, like paying for the tuition when we go to school, to have some investments for our business and so forth. And the last one, to set aside the money whenever we need in time of needs, like when we encounter accident, when we encounter natural disaster, or when some of our members have some problems like illnesses or even pass away. So these are the way that the Buddha advises us how to balance our wealth. So again, in some varieties, the Buddha advises in this right livelihood, no matter what type of occupation, jobs, or profession, we need to have the proper minds, to have the straightforward mind to work for others, to run a business in the proper way. The next thing is that we need to set out the proper occupation, jobs, or professions that we would like to run a business to earn income when we work for others. And the next one is that even we set out some good business occupations or profession for us to develop our company's business or work for others. We need to be straightforward, not to abuse the system, not to cheat the system for our own self-benefit. And the last one is that when we enter some kind of professions that may stay in the gray areas, like in the making movies, cartoon, movie, and so forth. We need to recognize whether we follow with the profit or our conscience. And of course, everyone wants to be rich. No one wants to be poor. But still, as a Buddhist, we need to recognize that whichever thing we do, the karma will get back to us. So if we involved in that type of business, especially in the gray areas, if somehow it goes beyond our conscience, we need to be careful. We need to be consider how we stay there, or how we move on to different profession occupations, so that we would not bring any harm to ourselves and others. So that is the choice everyone of us need to make when we run a business, when we work for others. So again, in general, the Buddha advises that we need to have the proper minds, right intention that we discussed before. And on the top of that, we choose the occupation, jobs, or profession that will bring the benefit for ourselves and others. So that is the important points that we learn in this message, the wise livelihood. So no one punishes, no one gives us the reward except our own karma. So if we get involved in illegal business, then sooner or later we have to pay for the price. If we twist around and cheat the system, even when we work, for example, in medical field or education field, again, sooner or later we have to encounter with the legal issues. So it's up to us to choose the proper occupation, jobs, or livelihood, so that we can earn income to support our families, and in the meantime, to bring benefit for our family, community, and society, not to harm them. So that's the whole message of wise livelihood. So one more time, let me review with you before I move on. This is the charge in the wise livelihood, right livelihood. In Buddhist view, we need to stay away from those kind of harmful business, occupation, or profession, like fisherman, soldier, hunter, butcher, high pressure semen, poison, trading, flesh, that's mean human trafficking, animals, intoxicant, harmless weapons, and so forth. So we recognize these are the harmful occupation that we need to stay away. Right? So let us move on to the next item, what we call right effort or wise effort in the Eightfold Path. So we have learned a lot about what's right, what's wrong. Again, in Buddhist view, when we talk about right, that means things would bring the benefits for ourselves and others in the short term and long term. When we talk about wrong, something is wrong. That means it great occurs the harm to ourselves and others in short term and long term. With that kind of standard universal concept, we can discuss about other matters when we talk about which is right, which is wrong, what is wise, what is unwise. So here in the wise effort, the Buddha advises us that there's 4 things we need to consider. The first thing is that if we have made some kind of mistake or unwholesome karma already, we need to stop. That's the first effort. The second one is that if we have not created any unwholesome karma, we would try our best not to raise them. That's second effort. And the third effort is that if we have not done any good deeds, we need to do so. And the last one, number 4, if we have done some good deeds, wholesome deeds, we need to do more. So that's the 4 efforts. So we can see that's the pair. The first pair that relate to unwholesome karma, that we need to stop if we have done. If we have not done so, we would not do it. And that's the first pair. The second pair relate to wholesome karma. If we have created wholesome karma already, we need to do more. If we have not, we need to start now. So these are what we call the wise effort. And here, when we talk about unwholesome karma, it relates to the karma of our mind, our speech, and our action. Let's say if we tell lie, if we cheat other people, if we done something harmfully to others, if we have the jealousy, the resentment, and so forth. So those are considered as unwholesome karma in thought, speech, and action. So we need to put a stop to those unwholesome karmas. For example, if let's say somehow we make mistake to cheat other people, to tell lie, so with our regret and remorse, we would stop from cheating, from telling lie. Or if we, let's say, kill a small insect and we feel sorry for them, so we would not kill them anymore. So again, that the unwholesome karmas that we try our best to stop them. As human, we create the bad karma. that's why we need to recognize them so that we can stop those bad karma. So since time is up, so I'd like to stop here today, and we'll discuss more about this type of 4 efforts again next time. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. See you soon.